Hello and welcome back. You are watching the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. This is Daily Dive. It is Thursday, February the 6th, 2025. I'm your host, Michael Carvelis in Guyton, Georgia. Producer Joe is behind the scenes in Bennettland, New York. We are live on 12 on Sports via YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV. Subscribe to the 12 on Sports channel on YouTube for other great shows and live sports. On today's awesome show, LFG, a reason to watch all 4 games in Week 11. Memes, the latest from the geniuses and dark humorists at NLL MEMES on Instagram. And finally, we'll talk to Rob Josey, who is a Halifax Thunderbirds season ticket holder. We want to first let you know this show is presented by tickets.12onsports.com. That's tickets.numbers12 letters OZsports.com. Get your National Lacrosse League tickets for less by going to that website, which includes all the sports and all your favorite artist concerts, among other things. Tickets.12ouncesports.com. It is now time to get into LFG, which we know what it stands for, but I like to refer to it as Let's Go! Yes, this is a reason to watch every game in week number 11. Isn't it crazy how far we've come? So, Friday, 7:30 Eastern. Again, all times are Eastern. Tomorrow, 7:30 in the evening. Why should you watch Colorado at Georgia? This is the second game this season between these two teams. Georgia won in Colorado 13-12. But to me, one team with a win will get back on track like dust pods. It feels like to me, Colorado, after a tough loss against Toronto, Georgia, who's been up and down besides a win against Vegas, one of these teams would feel really good about getting back in the win column against a worthy opponent. Calgary at Vancouver. The Warriors hosting the Roughnecks tomorrow at 10 o'clock at night. Why stay up and watch that game? Well, it's the Kurt Malowski goal number 2. And Vancouver won in Calgary on 14-10. So, can Kurt Malowski complete the season sweep with his new team? Next up, Saturday, you have a 1 o'clock in the afternoon game, which it's weird. It feels like the Philadelphia Wings do this quite a bit. But why watch an early afternoon game? Because these two teams have such high-powered offenses that Adam Levy went on Twitter and said he's already got the over. The total on DraftKings just set at 25.5. I have not checked the other books. That's for tomorrow's show. But 25.5, Adam Levy likes it, so I guess we're going to expect a bunch of fireworks between Halifax and Philadelphia. And finally, 7 o'clock Saturday evening. Why should you watch that on a Saturday night instead of going out with your friends and partying responsibly? Well, it's a marquee matchup. And to me, the Rock looked like they're going to keep on rolling. But can the Seals pull off what would look to be an upset? Can you imagine where in Week 11, the Seals have been so up and down, what looks like a big-time matchup would be an upset for them? Well, the Rock are the biggest favorite of the week. Can the Seals make this one interesting? I'm very intrigued to see that game. So that's LFG for week number 11. And we hope that you tune into all the games. And by the way, my game of the week is clearly the Seals and the Rock. What is your favorite game? And will you watch all 4 games? Let us know in the comments or on social media at Daily Dive LAX. We come back to this awesome show. I'm going to get into the latest from NLL Memes on Instagram. Folks, they've done it again. And oh my goodness, we'll be right back. This is Daily Dive. Don't go anywhere. I know you won't.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back. Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water. Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Daily Dive. Reminder, there's an audio-only podcast version of his show. Search Daily Dive on Spotify. And by the way, for some stupid reason, I literally scheduled yesterday's Elijah Gash show in audio-only form for like 6 o'clock in the evening. It did not even come up, so I had to delete it and try it again. So you're going to get back-to-back episodes today. I'm sorry for that, you audio listeners out there. And the listener hours are piling up. Alrighty, let's get into the good, dark humor people at NLL Memes. Folks, they've done it again. It was such a short and simple one, as they said it themselves. But wow. Let's first get to the picture. And again, I'll keep this up on the screen again. Dad, why is my sister named Rose? Because your mother loves roses. Thanks, Dad. No problem, Toronto Rock. So, I think I know what that's saying, but I feel like after Nick Rose had a great game, it feels like it's a shade at Nick Rose, but I'll take it. It's whatever. The mood in San Diego. Hey, shout out to Adam Levy, who I think was the one who actually got this picture and noticed this. Yeah, the score checks out. The 20-year-old goalie was locking folks up, and in a very dimly lit arena, it is hysterical that comes out. It looks like a horror film, man. That's impressive. Again, I believe that was Adam Levy who took that picture first. Yeah. So here are the 4 videos, and folks, viewer discretion is advised, because if you know, you know. Just, yeah.
Okay, look, I've been on a mission to the top. And when I get there, it's gonna go down. Laughing in competition while they telling us.
I genuinely despise /love/hate/adore the internet. I really do. I mean, and I've said it before. I believe I said the other day, like, Doug Jameson, it feels like he needs some help, but then it's like Andrew Kidd comes in, wasn't much better. So, Albany, we have a situation. Be honest. If you watched the show live, congrats, you got to see that. If because we're monetized on YouTube, that will probably be cut out. But what you just saw, in case you're on the replay here, was that Luigi, guy from who assassinated the CEO of healthcare company. He looks just like Josh Byrne. So that was clever meme making there, pals.
He was special.
And then came Jacob Dunbar. Oof! You know what? So in case again you're on Spotify, you just heard that Ian Lord's got 20 plus block shots this year. It's like by far leading the National Lacrosse League. It means nothing because Rochester's defense is still Swiss cheese a lot of times. But I would like to know why a guy who looks like that, who looks like me, was able to fire up the crowd. What country is a guy like me that popular? I don't know. All right. That's it for NLL memes. That was fun. Again, the first one was dark, but we made it through. If you know, you know. When we come back to this awesome show, let's talk to Rob Josey, Halifax Thunderbird season ticket holder. You don't want to miss this conversation. We're talking about the Nest coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap it up next.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME gets you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
What up, everybody? It's producer Joe, the baddest daddy in producing history, here to tell you all about the baddest, daddiest merch store. Go to the link tree in the bios of either our IG or Twitter, and from there you can access merch for the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show on the internet. I repeat, the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show on the internet. We got hoodies for when your girl comes over and wants to cuddle. Just don't let her take it when she leaves. How about a baddest daddy cap for when you lie about how much you hate Mike in this show, but you're still here? We've got beanies so you can do that in the cold too. Guys, what's going to happen when all these moms see you dropping your kid off at practice in this thing? Want to sip like a daddy and feel like a baddie? Check out that mug. 6-time NLL champ Johnny T and savior of my Buffalo sports childhood knows what I'm talking about. Guys, I'm really going to need you to start buying shit because I'm getting sick of doing Instacart. But yeah, go check it out so you can start repping and supporting the brand. Producer Daddy out.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
just in case you're wondering, Rob Josey, even season ticket holders get a guest graphic. So there you go, sir.
Awesome.
That's all we get. We get an awesome.
I don't know where you found that picture because I lost my hair a long time ago. So you went diving deep into the bowels of the internet to find that picture, my friend.
No, that was all him. That was all producer Joe. Rob Josey, we appreciate you coming on. You're at Rob Josey on Twitter and Instagram, I believe. How are you feeling right now, man?
Well, it's been have you talked to me after week 3? I think I would have been a little bit more pessimistic than I am today after week 7. So it's been, or game 7, I should say. It's been a little bit up and down, starting the season 0-3. But when you take a look at the Birds in general, it's really interesting, right? Like we're 2-3 in 1-goal games right now. We could easily be 6-1. We could easily be 1-6. So
that's fair.
There's been folks out there that have been quick to jump all over the Birds. We've got Talking Thunderbirds, which is a Facebook group that exists for Halifax Thunderbirds fans, where folks have been really quick to jump down the team's throat. I think when you look at where things are, the last 4 games, we're 3-1. The defense has tightened up significantly. Warren, after his little break that he had there, where Drew came in and saved the day against Albany. It's been a much better trajectory. The team's starting to gel a lot better. It's much more positive around these parts of Halifax these days when it comes to the Thunderbirds.
Around these parts, it's like you're from the South, man. No, but I do agree. Like there's such an up and down season, the roller coaster that it is in Halifax. I want to talk more about them in just a second. I do have a question here because I kind of want to rewind. You are a season ticket holder, so I'm going to ask you. And you weren't expecting this question yet, but tell me, how long have you been a lacrosse or box lacrosse fan, just in general?
Sure. So it hasn't been that long, quite frankly. I became a box lacrosse fan and a Thunderbirds fan because we got a team. And the very first season, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I knew the team was coming, and if you remember Groupon, I don't know if people use Groupon much these days, but back then I was able to get a deal for tickets on Groupon to go see for the Thunderbirds. That game was the game where the Thunderbirds played the Saskatchewan Rush, where they were down by 9 goals and came back to tie the game to send it in overtime. We did lose, but that game was so incredible, I bought season tickets immediately.
Wow.
And I was hooked. That was it.
How long ago was that again?
That would have been the 2019-2020 season that got shortened by COVID. Yeah.
And every year season ticket holder since.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So according to your Twitter bio, you cheer for the Patriots, Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Blue Jays, and Halifax Thunderbirds. So I guess the next question is, Halifax was not just the local home team. Like you said, Halifax was kind of, are they that close to you, or kind of tough?
Yeah, so I'm in Dartmouth, which is a part of Halifax. Takes me 20 minutes to get to the arena. I go with my son and my stepdad and my mom. There's 4 of us that have seats. We go every single game. We arrive early when the doors open. We like to watch shoot around. I think my son collects 1 to 2 balls every single game just from them popping into the stands. It's a lot of fun. It's a big part of what we like to do here in the winter.
I love that. And again, if arena was 20 minutes for me, I would be uncontainable. I will say that. So we touched on the season so far. The Thunderbirds are 3-4. I want to discuss like 3 different parts here. Let's first talk Warren Hill, who's got 76.2 save percentage. Is not terrible, but it's also not top of the league. So what is your take on Warren Hill and even the little bit of Drew Hutchison we saw?
Sure. I mean, Warren gets a bad rap, in my opinion, generally speaking. Warren is a top goalie, realistic. The problem is, at least this year, is our defense has not been a top defense until, if you take a look at our scores in the last couple of games, we've really locked it down. If you had have taken a peek and were watching some of the games, you would have seen the defense constantly switching, and they were getting caught. That seemed to have limited itself over the last couple of games. There's a couple letdowns, like Mitch Wild had one that I know that he would like to have back at the beginning of the last game. But ultimately speaking, the defense was looking really, really solid. What's a little bit interesting about that, though, is we've got our defense that seems to be playing a little bit short. We're going with 8 offense players, which is not typical for most of the teams in the NLL. Now, that being said, Mike Robinson has been doing double duty. He's been a stud on the offense, but he's playing a ton of defensive shifts.
Wow.
I didn't notice that at the beginning of the season, but watching a little bit deeper, I'm like, oh, that kid's on defense a lot, and he's locking it down. So he has been doing pretty solid there. But like I said, Warren gets a bad rap. Warren has seen the ball really well over the last 2 games. It's been a complete turnaround for him. I think sometimes he gets in his head, but when Warren's got the confidence of the team, when the defense is shutting things down in front of him, Warren can't be stopped. I did think Drew, when he came in and saved for Warren, he was locked. He was incredible. He was absolutely incredible that game. The next game, I believe, was the game against Rochester where he got the start. That was not the prettiest performance, but frankly, it wasn't the prettiest performance on the side of the defense or on the side of Rochester. 1918 game, nobody is happy from a defensive perspective. The offense is looking really great, but nobody is happy from a defensive perspective on that one.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm going to jump to this now. The offense has been, 19 goals against Rochester, 18 against Calgary, but sometimes you got 9 against Rochester the next week, and then you got 8 against, I believe, the Rush, who aren't slouches, but it's like, is inconsistency an issue from a season ticket holder point of view?
I mean, okay, you're taking a look at it that perspective. I'm looking at it the perspective of the team's averaging 13 goals per game. They're 3rd in the league in total goals on average per game, right? They're not a slouch. They can score. I think what they're doing is they're tailoring their game plan to who they're playing against, right? And when the defense is doing its job and locking it down, the offense is doing a better job of maximizing the shot clock. They're doing a better job of getting back in transition. They're doing a better job of making sure that they're maximizing their time with the ball. And sometimes what that's going to mean is that they don't have to score as many goals. And they haven't needed that the last couple games. But if you think for a second that Clark Peterson and Randy Stotts and Thomas Hogarth has been absolutely incredible for the team. Dawson Thie, like the offense has been absolutely incredible this year from a balance perspective. There's not one person who's rolling with it and taking over the team. Like everybody is a threat on any given night.
No, I agree. And so I do like that you went to the averages because that's a very good perspective of it. I do like that. You can't just pick out individual games. You can, but you can't.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you now, and some of our commenters have already mentioned him, but I was going to talk about Jake Withers.
Sure.
It's interesting to me, the Swiss Army knife he's become, because on paper it's like face-off guy, 50%, not great. But then you got 6 points, 69 nice loosies, 10 calls turnovers, 10 block shots. We're taking the good with the bad here. I mean, Withers has become such an all-around player. What is your take on Withers this year?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about Withers. Like, Withers is a defenseman, right? Defenseman first. He gets put into the bucket of face-off guy. But Withers is one of the best defensemen in the entire league. Like, I put him up there with just about anybody. It was felt in the first game of the season where he was suspended and we let up 19 goals. Not having Withers on the defense was huge, right? So I think you put Withers into that game and we get that win, right? Like that was a big difference maker. Now, people are going to go, what's going on with him at the faceoff dot? What's changed? Well, what's changed is the league has changed. There's a lot of teams who weren't really running out a top face-off guy. And when you do that, Jake Withers is going to make you pay. The other thing that I'll say to that is there's a lot of new face-off gentlemen out there who are playing this game that Jake has never faced before. So Jake's learning their tendencies. a really good example of that is games 5 and game 6. So we've got Mike Sisselberger in game 5. Withers went 40% at the dot. The next week, it went the other way. Withers was 56% of the dot. So he went back, and Withers is a known video guy. He was watching the video, figuring out the tendencies, and he was able to have a much more competitive game. If you even think about the games where Withers has been against Baptiste, right? It's much more even. So what you're seeing now is just other face-off players that have joined these teams. Teams are putting that much more pressure on having a face-off specialist because possessions matter in the NLL.
You know, I'm so glad you said that because it's something I don't think it's ever crossed my brain until you mentioned that. You emphasized that point about teams are almost saying in a way face-offs matter. And
Sisselberger, the mailman, right. Jake Naso in Saskatchewan, Stathakis in Vancouver. Like he owned Withers this week. What he didn't own Withers on was loose balls, cause turnovers, and everything else. So the other great pieces of Withers' game really stepped up, and that's why he's been able to adjust and adapt. He scored a goal on Friday night as well.
Yeah, because it was funny. I was looking at like just the standout performances of that game, and I looked at him and I was like, okay, he won 30% of faceoffs. Oh, 1 block shot, 2 cause turnovers, 8 loose balls, like you said, a goal and an assist. It's unbelievable what he does despite not a great night at the faceoff. It's crazy.
Well, that's why he was Transition Player of the Year last year, right? And Thunderbirds thankfully have another guy who's going to be in the hunt for Transition Player of the Year this year in Ryan Terefenko. I don't know if you paid attention to what his night was like last week. He was the NLL Player of the Week, 3 goals, 2 assists, his first Hattie ever. This guy is a spark plug and only getting better.
Real quick, I don't want to talk about the incident too much. It is so far behind us, but have you noticed an absence of Tyson Bell right now in the back end? In transition as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So Tyson not being there is a detriment overall. The one thing I've noticed, the team has bound around like as a group, right? They've stood up. Like, look at Romanchuk. Like, Romanchuk has come off the practice roster, has stepped into the game. I don't know how they're going to pull him off the roster. We've got Nungo Thompson now, who just got put on the evaluation list. Who are they going to pull off? I think it's going to be McKenzie. And then when Bell comes back, I think it's March 1st is his first eligible game. It all depends on if the league counts that first game when the team suspended him versus I don't know how that works. So it might be the game after that. But there's going to be some really challenging decisions to be made for the coaching staff and for Kurt and for Scott as they make their decisions with the team. The good thing, though, is depth is key. You need folks to step up when there's injuries. We may see a shift towards the end of the year where they go back to 7-0. That allows them to carry an extra defenseman. We'll see what happens. It's going to be really, really interesting. And I think that we're in a really good spot from a team perspective. We're sitting in 9th. We're just 1 spot out of a playoff spot right now. This team is on the up. I'll be really interested to watch how things go with Philly this Saturday.
And great segue, sir. I don't know if you've ever done podcasts before. Here we are.
All right. I've not. By the way, this is my first one ever, so I appreciate the invite. This is a lot of fun. I
love it. You're giving good energy and good insight, too. So, at Philadelphia, Adam Levy, by the way, I mentioned this before you came on, he already likes the over, 25.5.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Oh, you are? Okay, so what are your thoughts on the game in general?
Yeah, I'm with him.
All right. You think we get both offenses? Who do you think wins? Just thoughts on the game in general.
Well, I mean, I'm a homer, so I'm going to pick my Birds. Cody Jamieson has also owned the Wings over the years. Now that being said, the last time Philadelphia came to Halifax, they won. It was a late game finish. Local boy Alex Pace, who's on the Wings, he had a really good night that night. He had a big crowd, a big contingent of family and friends that were in the crowd that were very excited. But I'm going to go with my Birds. But the over, I'm all over, and here's why. you've got two of the most high-powered offenses in the league. So the Wings are sitting second in average goals per game. The Thunderbirds are sitting third. You've also got two of the worst on paper right now, not looking at the last two games, looking at the entire season, two of the worst teams from a goals against perspective. While the Wings have done significantly better than the Birds are averaging 13 goals a game against. The Wings are about 12 goals a game against. And you've got some really high-powered offenses coming out hot. Rezateris has been awesome. Mitch Jones has been awesome. It all depends on how this game plan goes. But I'm putting my money on the Birds to come out on top. Andrew Suter's going to have that defense ready. We're known to shut down Mitch Jones. We've done that in the past. We'll see how we handle against Rezateris. Rezateris did light us up for a bunch of points a number of years ago, where I forget what it was. I think he took over, might have been second or third spot for top American in goals that game, something to that effect. I'd have to go back and check my notes, but it's going to be a high-powered game. I think it's going to be very, very fun to watch. I'm also banking on a low-attendance game from Philly because it's an afternoon game. We'll see, but the Thunderbirds are going to be ready. I'm very confident they'll be ready for this game.
And the next day, they got the Eagles to play, like with the NFL Super Bowl. So maybe attendance could be, that's a fun one because you guys have rocked attendance. Pat McGuire says great stuff, Rob. Ty the goalie, I was going to mention this earlier. They told me the Seal shirt's got to go. It's funny how I wore the purple and you wore the orange, even though it's kind of a Seal shirt thing here. It looks like Thunderbird's colors. I respect it.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of attendance, though, I do want to touch on something. The Thunderbirds fans have stepped up this season. Game 1, plus 8.5% year over year, 9,261 fans. Home game 2, sellout, plus 7.5% year over year. Home game 3, we lost to Rochester, plus 13.5% year over year, 10,195 fans. Last week, we were down 15.2% with 84-53. It did not feel like that in the Nest. The Nest was rocking for beach night last Friday night. The team is drawing well. This upswing is going to help keep that attendance going. I think you're going to see another 1 or 2 sellouts by the end of this year.
I was going to ask you one more thing about that attendance, actually, and I'll let you go here. You have been there kind of since the beginning when they did this whole thing in Halifax.
Yeah.
How cool is it? How much loyal has the fan base gotten? How cool is it from your perspective, being like, dang, look at all these people here? Has it always been?
It is incredible to watch, and you're still like, it's funny. You hear a lot when you go to the bathroom. I know that sounds kind of weird, but there's so many people. It's like, it's my first game ever. It's my first game ever. It's my first game ever. I can't believe I've never been here before. And I hear that over and over and over again. I've brought folks to the game that have never been there before, and they keep coming back. My son's hockey team, we did an event for the Rochester game where we sold almost 200 seats as a group and filled one of the sections to bring a lot of people, and a bunch of the folks on Sawyer's team had never been to a game before. So again, we are drawing some incredible crowds. The beauty of that, though, is that you get a passionate fan base who wants us to do well. The fans are still learning. There was a lot of we'll call it negativity around Shanks and Woods leaving, Fennell getting traded. But when you look at the team overall and you look at those moves that were made, they were the right moves overall. I'm going to take Thomas Hogarth all day, every day over Austin Shanks. I'm going to take Dawson Knox Jason Knox all day, every day. Oh, I'm thinking Dawson Thied, Jason Knox. They're like the Bash brothers from Mighty Ducks that are up there on the left side. But I'm going to take that all day on offense in comparison to what we had with Fennell. We didn't even have Fennell last year. He was hurt all year, right? So it wasn't really a loss to me. And now we've got Robinson, who is I don't think that kid is getting enough credit for his first year as a rookie and what he's doing. I think he's getting lost in the shuffle because he's playing so much defense. He's scoring, but he's not the top scorer in the league. Watch out for him. He's going to grow and be a threat overall as he continues to grow up, so to speak, in the NLL.
You're a season ticket holder here, and I just appreciate you doing the Lord's or Creator's work, whichever faith you're a part of, by helping the team out. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Rob Josey. Hunter Smith said the Wings are going to win because they got Mitch Jones. End of story. I don't know why producer Joe's putting that up there. Don't care. But I just want to say thanks, Rob, for coming on the show. You're awesome. First time here. First time for everything. Start of a good thing. Enjoy the game from the couch this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm local. They're on the road, so it'll be a remote game for sure. But I will be back in the nest the following week with the rest of the Nest faithful. So go Birds!
Thanks again, Rob, for coming on the show. You have a great rest of your weekend, sir.
Thanks, you as well. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, producer Joe. I appreciate the nod to come on today.
Love it. Rob Josey, everybody, season ticket holder, Halifax Thunderbirds. That's, I believe, the first one we've done with a season ticket holder. So that was really fun. We appreciate him coming on. We appreciate all the great guests. Thanks for all the comments, and thanks for the viewers, as always. Reminder, you are the bread, you are the butter, you are the, oh my God, what was that, to my NLL memes post. I also want to let you guys, remind you guys to follow us at Daily Dive LAX on the social medias. And individually, I am at Michael Carvelis. Producer Joe's graphic portfolio is at Baddest Production Father on Instagram. And he reposts memes and other good things at Daddy_produces on Twitter. Bigo, our social media manager, is at LJ Lacrosse 49 on both Instagram and Twitter. But again, thank you for tuning in. Thanks to all of our great guests, like Rob Josey today, like which player did we just like Elijah Gash, like Pat and Adam every Friday. Thank you all for coming on this show, giving us validity and relevance by sharing your platform with us. For Bigo, who's always tapping it up on social media, and of course, producer Joe, who's the baddest daddy in producing history. I'm your host, Mike. So have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, 12 on Sports. This has been Daily Dive. Bye.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.